A very good morning once again to all of you. Resume. Resume is one of the most important document that you have to progress in your career. And I have seen a lot of people ignore the resume. And when I say ignore, uh, the resume is prepared only at the last moment. And today I'm going to share the biggest mistakes that you as a mid-career professional make while updating your resume. My name is Pura. I'm the founder of Career Ownership Hub on a mission to empower 100,000 mid-career professionals. I want you to take your decisions with full clarity and confidence. And you know why this is important? Because mid-career is crucial. The time is less. Your family expectations of your family from you are also very high. And you should not make wrong decisions in your mid-career. That doesn't mean that you should not fail, but you should be aware of what you are doing. Even if you fail, you have to bounce back faster. So be aware, be clear, and have a good vision of where you are heading towards for the next 5 years. Not next 1 or 2 years, but at least for the next 5 years. So let's come back to the resume, which is one of the tools that sometimes creates your next step or destroys your next step. Why? Because the resume reaches the interviewer faster than you. The resume reaches once you prepare it and float it across, then you cannot control the spread or the reach of the resume. And your first impression is still with your resume because it reaches before you reach. So you have to take care of the resume. And today I'll share a few very basic and some high level mistakes that you make as a mid-career professional when you create your resume. So let's go into the favorite mind maps. And I want you to take notes or at least take a screenshot of the mind map so that next time when you start updating your resume, you have clarity of what not to do. So let me just share my screen and go to the mind map to make it easy to understand for all of you. I'm sure my screen is visible and I'm audible to the people on YouTube. And here I go with the resume mistakes mind map. The biggest mistake that people commit in while updating the resume, specifically in the mid-career, is, and why do they do it? Because usually the resume is updated at a very last moment. When there is a requirement of a job, or let's say when you are highly frustrated in your current job, that is the time when you prepare or you start working on your resume. And you do it only at the very last moment. As a result, you miss to mention a lot of things in your resume. This is called the iceberg syndrome. Last minute preparation leads to you looking only at the last few years of your professional journey and updating the resume with those details only. The years before that usually are not taken into consideration or are not given so much significance. And hence, you miss to mention a lot of achievements and skills that you have acquired in the early years of your professional journey. So the first thing that I want you to do is start documenting your journey so that whenever you update your resume, you do not miss the most important learnings that you have in your journey. And if you are part of the Career Ownership Hub, you would have created your skills landscape. I'm not going into the details of the skills landscape, but very briefly, a skills landscape is a complete inventory of your skills since you started your corporate journey. And it also has the evidence of when did you acquire the skills? What is the story behind it? So that if you write a skill, you have a reason. Why do you write that? So if you are doing the last minute preparation, start documenting your journey right away so that You have something to refer to when you prepare your resume. This is extremely important to cover all your skills and all your experiences from the journey. And you know what happens is, based on for what position are you applying for, you have to pick different skills from your skills landscape. And at this moment, the landscape comes very handy. As we go for further in the journey of the resume, I'll explain a lot of other secrets. Why do we need to do what I'm sharing with you? Avoid grammatical errors and spelling mistakes in your resume. That is not expected at this level. In fact, that is not expected at any level. But you know what? I have seen many people because of their background, the schooling that has been done, the place they are coming from. Usually, there are standard spelling mistakes that appear in the resume. And you know what? This gives a very wrong impression about you as a mid-career professional. And because we are doing the last minute preparation, we miss checking the spelling mistakes. The easiest thing is to do it in Word. But you know what? Word gives you the option of checking the spelling mistake. But sometimes you are so confident that you add the wrong spelling to the word dictionary, MS Word dictionary, and then forever that becomes the spelling for you. Grammatical errors using the past tense and the present tense. I have seen a lot of mistakes people make while putting their achievements of the past, but they put it as in the present tense. So please take care of these grammatical errors. You know what? You might ignore these things. These things are okay when you are the only applicant for that particular position. When you have got the opportunity because of your specific role or your specific past achievements. But whenever you are applying for an open position, these things matter a lot because then there are other resumes to compare. People don't know you as a person. You are evaluated only on the basis of your resume. And a lot of times, this situation will definitely occur. The third and the important point, we are always kind of people, we want to decorate things, we want things to look beautiful. And hence we use multiple fonts. We also want to highlight some things, we don't want to highlight some things. So we make a few fonts bold, we use different colors because now we have the facility to use all the types of colors from the palette. And we also change the fonts. This leads to distraction. Whenever somebody is reading your resume, if there are multiple fonts, it doesn't look good. We are not here to prepare something which looks good. It is a professional document. It should, rather than looking good, it should give the right information. It should be designed in a way that the reader is able to focus on what he or she needs to read. So do not use multiple fonts and do not use colors in your resume. Naming the document, always in a hurry of submitting the resume for a position, people also miss to name it correctly. I have seen many times the resume is named as resume or resume version 1 or resume underscore the date. Where is your name? The most the best method to name your resume is resume underscore your name, the first name, or first name underscore resume. This is your resume, and looking at the title of the document, the reader should understand what is the document. So you may be preparing 10 versions, but when you are finally submitting the final version, you have to rename it. Do not go ahead with the same kind of nomenclature, resume version 1.1, resume version 10, etc., etc. And that also shows that you have created multiple versions of your resume. Only if when you keep correcting it, you create versions. The next point is specifically in your mid-career, Maybe after 10 years of experience, you would have worked across different profiles. And this makes you eligible to apply for different kind of profiles, not only limited to the one in which you are doing your current role. So you might prepare a resume for a role that you did 5 years ago because you have that capability, you have that skills. But you know what? You make one standard resume for all the positions. You assume that my role 5 years ago has that skills, and the recruiter would go to my second page of the resume also. That doesn't happen. Usually, it is based on a survey where people or the recruiters only look at the top half of the first page of the resume. And if they do not find the keywords in the top half of the first page, they will not even select the resume. So whenever you create the resume, depending on for what position are you applying, you have to select the content. Yes, there is a possibility that you put your previous experience or your previous position at the top because that is the most relevant for the new position where you are applying for. So accordingly, you should have multiple versions of your resume. But do not include that in the name of the resume. If you have prepared one for sales, one for project management, do not say underscore sales, underscore project management. That is not the right way to name it. But please start creating multiple versions of your resume. The basic mistakes that people make. Let's come to the level 2 mistakes. Your photograph. As per the new trends, people are putting their photograph on the resume. And you are also so excited to put your photograph when you are updating your resume after 10 long years. But unfortunately, we have never got a professional photo clicked. Most of the photographs are of weddings and parties and trips and vacations. But you want a photograph. So you take any good looking picture of yours. But when you actually paste it on your resume, the resolution is not as good as it was earlier. But because you think there has to be a photograph, you put a photograph with a low resolution also. The first impression goes wrong. If you do not have a photograph picture with a high resolution, if you do not have that in your archives, it is not necessary at all to put a picture. Put your LinkedIn profile, link to your LinkedIn profile. People would look at your display picture on your LinkedIn profile, provided you have that on your LinkedIn profile. Delete irrelevant data. Like after 10-15 years of experience, don't go in detail of your academics. Name of the college, year 1, year 2, year 3, percentage, the score. All that is not required. What is required is if you are engineer, what kind of engineer and what was your score, the final score. Even the name of college is not required. Believe me, more the information, high is the distraction. Less the information, higher probability of the eyes going to the right information. So let's keep the information to the minimum. Awards in the school, not required at all. Delete this. Roles and responsibility of all the designations, all the previous designations. Trust me, nowadays, whenever you have to submit a resume, the recruiters are looking at what can you contribute towards their organization, towards a new role, not what you have done in the past. What is more important is how can you start working immediately as soon as you enter. You are not entering as a fresher. So they would like to know what have you done in the past which can directly impact your next role. So don't get into mentioning 10 points under each and every designation about what you are doing. Irrelevant data. Company specific nomenclature. I have seen people using the nomenclature of used within their company when they are submitting their resumes beyond their company, outside the organization? How would one know the nomenclature that you are using within the company, which is very company specific? How can anyone make out what does that mean? So try not to use company specific nomenclature in your resume. Make it generic. Okay. Make it easy to understand for the reader. And whenever you write something, you have to ask yourself, why are you putting this information? What value is it going to add? Don't be so possessive about whatever you have achieved in the past. Believe me, everything is not worth mentioning. This might make you feel bad, but that is the truth. Be practical, be professional. No need to mention your address in detail to the block number of your house. That is not required. You know what? When you start deleting this information, when you start deleting this information, um, one line from each detail, the overall size of your resume and the overall quality of your resume will improve. The size will reduce. The number of pages will automatically go down, and the quality, definitely for sure, you will only have the information which is required in your resume. And unless it is required, do not mention 2 3 contact numbers in your resume. Mention one mobile number and your one email ID. You don't need 2 mobile numbers. The network nowadays is not so bad that you need 2 mobile numbers to ensure that you are always connected. And if somebody is calling you once, he or she would call you the second time also. You are not applying as a fresher, you are applying as a senior professional. When someone decides to call you, they have already scrutinized your resume, and hence they would again try calling you back. So do not worry about at times your network is not reachable, and for that you need a new number or a new phone. You just need one contact number. Most of the people are using email IDs which they have prepared when they are in the college or they are in the schools. And those email IDs sometimes have your nickname or your entire birth date in numbers or the birth year. You know what? This looks unprofessional. And the first thing that you have to do is create a new email ID today with your name and last name, first name and last name. And yes, maybe Google will not allow you because it would be the same existing somewhere else, but you can tweak some things. But do not add a lot of numbers to your email ID. It is difficult to remember and it doesn't look professional. As I said earlier, do not make one standard resume for all the roles. You are a senior professional applying for specific positions. So let's customize. Let's try to customize the resume and make it look in a way that the reader or the interviewer feels that you are made for that position. And it is possible to do that. Maybe in a couple of days, I will make one more video where I would share how to make your resume. And whenever I see a resume, there is a long list of skills mentioned. Even at the senior level, people mention MS Word, MS Excel. Guys, it is not about quantity. It is about the evidence also. When you keep writing a lot of skills, it gives a negative impression. It creates a doubt in the mind of the reader. The value goes down automatically when you mention a lot of skills. So when we prepare the skills landscape, we do mention the evidence of the skill, that what skill when you have demonstrated the skill. So next time when you write the skills, make it relevant for the position. If you have 50 skills, no need to write 50. At max, you can write 6 to 7 skills which are specific to that particular position. And for all that skills, have a clear evidence, a one-liner which shows that you have demonstrated the skill. You know what? It is very easy to write skills. But when you have those skills with evidence, the trust level of the interviewer goes high. And that is what we want. Even before you are sitting in front of him or her, they have already created an image of you in their mind. So when you write a few skills but with evidence, you know what, they would start believing whatever you say during the interview. Then you need not give any kind of evidence for any kind of skills that you say or any other aspect also. But your resume helps to establish credibility with the interviewer. So make it compact, precise, and highlight the points which are necessary for that particular position. Resume is important. Do not ignore the resume. In fact, I would say every quarter, I would say every month, once you have to update your resume. If not update, just go through the resume and every quarter update your resume. If you keep doing this, you know what, while you are updating your resume every time, you will get to know what are the other opportunities that you can apply for. Resume has the power. Start updating your resume often. But the first thing, remove all this irrelevant data and avoid the basic mistakes and create a few versions from today onward. Start working on it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I would like to see a new resume updated by you very soon. All the best to you. Let's be creator of circumstances and not victim of circumstances. You have to take charge of your journey.